Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to do my NFL Green Bay Packers Beast recap show. So the Green Bay Packers defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 27-18 in a final, and obviously I'm happy with the win. I was kind of worried that we were getting into a game that was very similar to the Cleveland Browns a couple weeks ago, which ironically had Joe Flacco as the starter back then. And now he's the starter for the Cincinnati Bengals. But we got it together. The opening possession looked very promising, but then, of course, Jordan Love ended up throwing in a boneheaded interception, which stalled the drive, which we could have, got a score really early at that point, but that, of course, did not happen. After that, it was kind of just back and forth with defenses and stuff like that until we were able to get a field goal. Brandon was not active in this game. He's dealing with an injury. So we actually had a different kicker who has not played since, I think they said 2023 when he actually played for the Rams. He, got 2 field goals. He made all the extra points. Longest, and the first one, I believe, was the 43-yard field goal. So, and that was the one that put us up 3-0 into the second, going into the established of where we were trying to get to in the game, because we were, not really moving the ball that much in the early going. But of course, one of the big guys in this game that I think came out of his own in this game was Matthew Golden. He had 3 receptions for 86 yards. He was targeted 5 times. But, no touchdowns, but he had a lot of big plays. So he's really coming to his own in this game. Romeo Doubs got 9 targets. He is like kind of the go-to guy at this point. He had 5 receptions for 55 yards receiving. Didn't get as many touchdowns. He didn't get any touchdowns, actually. But he was a guy that, they were looking at. Like this Romeo Doubs, I don't know what the Packers are going to do in the offseason, because they have big decisions to make with the wide receiving core, because I don't think we should get rid of Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs has proven to be like a guy that could be a number 1 wide receiver, I think. Like the way he's playing, I think, better than any of the receivers. Now, obviously, Golden is a rookie, so obviously, he's still getting to where he needs to be at, but week to week, Romeo Doubs has looked really good. Obviously, Christian Watson is still coming back from a torn ACL. He was inactive in this game, but this was the first game he could have been able to return. He did start practicing this week, but they decided not to bring him out. And again, he was signed to a 1-year extension. He's a deep threat, obviously, but again, you got a lot of receivers here. Golden's on a rookie contract. Again, Watson is on a 1-year extension. And you got Romeo Doubs, who's balling out better than any of the receivers this year. In my opinion, he has balled out. And I don't think we should get rid of Romeo Doubs. Jaden Reed obviously right now is injured. He's on a temp IR right now. But they got a lot of tough decisions to make, because even Jaden Reed, when he was not injured, he was a top tier receiver as well. They got a lot of decisions they're gonna have to make. But really, the star of this game was definitely Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs was a freaking monster in this game, from pass and run, or receiving and rushing. He had 5 receptions for 57 yards receiving, and a lot of these throws that Jordan Love were giving to Josh Jacobs was literally, he was like the third check down receiver that he was going to. He wanted to go deep, but couldn't, and so he went to short to Jacobs, and Jacobs just ran it. He set up the first touchdown that coincidentally he ended up finishing off himself. So yeah, I mean, very good from him. Tucker Kraft had 2 receptions for 43 yards. He was only targeted 2 times, and the 2 times that he was targeted, he made the catches for 43 yards, and he did have a monster touchdown, the Coup de grace type touchdown, bang, fought for that end zone to get in there, banged right with the defender. Wicks didn't really do that much, but he had 2 receptions for 15 yards. For rushing, again, Josh Jacobs, monster in this game. 18 attempts for 93 yards. Rushing close to 100. He had two rushing touchdowns. Again, he set up the first one from getting a receiving catch, but then, of course, setting it up around the 3-yard line to punch it in himself. And he ultimately, in the first play of the fourth quarter, did get another one. Jordan Love did have 7 attempts for 26 yards rushing himself. He did kind of slide down at the end there when he could have probably put it away on 3rd and 2. Matthew Goldman had 2 attempts for 16 yards. Wilson, our backup running back, only had 3 attempts for 11 yards. And then, of course, our quarterback, Jordan Love, 19 attempts for 26 yards, 259 yards passing yardage. He did have a touchdown pass to Tucker Kraft towards the end of the game. He did, of course, throw that boneheaded interception at the beginning of the game in the first possession. And then he also did give up 1 sack in the game. Overall, I did think we had a pretty good performance. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things we have to clean up. I think we were a little too laxed on, the early going of the game, especially since Joe Flacco obviously just got to Cincinnati on Tuesday. He hasn't really been able to really kind of do that much in terms of learning the offense as much. I mean, obviously he's a vet, so he's going to pick it up. But you could see in the first half, Joe Flacco was kind of, really non-effective because, he just got to the team. But obviously they started him immediately because he was a better option than what they had at quarterback right now while Burrow was out, until possibly December. Okay, they're thinking like they're bringing Flacco in because they're hoping that he can win a few games to keep them in playoff contention until Burrow comes back. That is the kind of the argument of why they brought in Flacco. But like I said, he didn't really do anything in the first half. But again, this is his first week. So he really, Joe Flacco is someone I've always liked as a quarterback. I think he's probably one of the more underappreciated quarterbacks in the National Football League, unfortunately, with some of the injuries that piled up towards the end of his Baltimore Ravens career. And he's just kind of been floating around the league since then as a backup or, a partial starter for these other teams. But, in the second half, man, oh my God, Joe Flacco was Joe Flacco. The Joe Flacco that you seen in Baltimore. Flacco, he had 29 attempts for 45 yards, 219 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He only gave up 1 sack. Like, I said this on the Beast Pick video with the Rainy 48 this past week. I said with that receiving core he has, he's gonna be really good. And I had a feeling he would struggle in this game because they did put him out there, and he literally has had only 2 days of practice since getting to Cincinnati. But obviously he's better than what they had there for backup quarterback, so that's why they started him, despite knowing that he was probably going to struggle in the early on of the game. But the fact that Joe Flacco was able to light it up in the second half and really make this into a game and really concerned the fuck out of me, because I was worried that we were going to have deja vu again from just a few weeks ago when he started for the Cleveland Browns. Like, I mean, I just can't believe it, you know? Chase, Higgins, he was starting to get at him again. And I think in the first half, he didn't really have hardly any passing yardage. In the second half, to have as many yardage as he had, I don't know if they had the breakdown of it, but I mean, I couldn't believe it. Looking back, looking at the stats at the end of it. In terms of the defense, Walker, 8 tackles, five solo. Tricky Dicky, he also caused the fumble too, but he had six tackles, four, had no sacks. Van Ness, he was the sole person who had a sack by himself, and it was a very good sack. Flacco again didn't throw any interceptions in the game because Flacco's Flacco. I just think coming into this game, I was, like I said, I was just worried about like going into how Joe Flacco was gonna be because we found this out late. I thought this was gonna obviously be an easy game. Had the guy who they had been starting was playing, but once they got Joe Flacco, it obviously changed the entire trajectory of the game, of how this game was going to turn out. So that was kind of my concern. But they held it together. Again, Jordan Love slid on second down and led it to be 3rd down and 2. And of course, we ultimately had to kick a field goal on that. Luckily, the kicker we had in there did kick the field goal to give us the point edge. But obviously, the touchdown that the Bengals had and the 2-point conversion made it a very, very difficult situation. But nonetheless, we held it together. And we ended up holding on and winning the game because of such. But it's very concerning because, again, the Bengals right now, even though they did have Joe Flacco, the rusty first half, I mean, we got to score early. We got to score early on teams that aren't going to be good because I don't believe even with Joe Flacco there, I don't think the Bengals are going to be that good contentiously, even with having a stable quarterback in there now. And we got, our schedule is only going to get tougher. Cardinals, they had a heartbreaking loss today. Could have possibly won that game. Obviously, the Steelers playing Aaron Rodgers, my boy. Discount double check. The Steelers, they're winning their division like I predicted, by the way, on Beast Picks week 1. Go check it out. I said it. I said that they were going to win the NFC North, and everybody thought I was crazy saying that. Everybody said it's going to be the Ravens. I said no. I believe it's going to be. I did say the Ravens were going to be a wild card team, but I said that the Steelers were winning the AFC North this year, and right now they're standing at 4-1 in their division. Right now, 2 games ahead of the Bengals, who are in second place. Got the Panthers, who we can't take lightly. Eagles, obviously, remember the game from last year. We got a tough schedule. Giants, nothing to write up about them. Division rival Vikings then. Like these next couple of weeks, we cannot pull the gas off and freaking not score touchdowns when touchdowns need to be scored early on the game, especially when you're playing guys that are not really that good. So that's my only concern coming out of this game. I mean, it was a solid performance from everybody. Just, a lot of corrections. The interceptions, the interception didn't matter in the grand scheme of things because the Bengals didn't go on to score on that drive after our opening possession. So, but when we play an elite team, that's probably going to happen. And it is going to be something that we're going to have to take into account. So that is my only concern coming out of this game, is that we didn't really look our best We didn't look our best in this football game by any stretch of the imagination. Letting Joe Flacco in the second half torch our defense was not something I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen. Also, by the way, I should bring up that Parsons had 3 tackles as well in this game, since I didn't mention it earlier. But I just wanted to say that I think we really need to seriously look in a mirror and be like, we are better than this, okay? We cannot keep teams that aren't good into the game, especially when we eventually do play the Lions, because eventually we're going to have to play the Lions, right? Too. We played them once, but obviously the Lions are playing good again. We got them, on Thanksgiving? That's going to be a game, that we're going to have to look at. We don't have an easy road going forward with these schedules, okay? Even though we blew out the Lions in week 1, the Lions are back to being the Lions again, and they're being a good team again. So, these are the things I worry about coming out of this, is we have a tough schedule. And even teams that really shouldn't be that hard probably are going to be hard. Fuck, we almost seen the Jets beat the fucking Broncos, for fuck's sakes. That's just how unpredictable the NFL is right now. We cannot take these teams for granted. And I really wish more people would be more on top of this. But again, win is a win. Happy we got the win, but we need to correct a lot coming out of next week and getting ready for the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona, because that is going to be much difficult, I think, than people think it's going to be. The Cardinals just lost a heartbreaking game, and we need to win all. As far as I'm concerned, we need to win all these games, but we especially need to keep ourselves in contention with the Lions for the division. That is the goal. So yeah. Good team win, but we got to correct a lot. Go Pack Go. I am, make sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure to check out the Beast Pick podcast episode for this week, for next week's football prediction show, and all that good stuff. I am the S Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace. Go Pack Go. Also, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Twitch, the Instagram, and I do have a Discord link in the description where we discuss various topics, including this one here. So make sure to check that out. And now I'm out. Peace. Go Pack Go.